Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of Season 1, Episode 3 of Hawaii-Five-0, titled Respect the Land. So we start off with the gang, at a football game, bonding, and they're introduced to Dano's daughter. He's trying to get her into a sport like football, as her stepdad has got her in the country club playing tennis. I wonder if it's less the fact that she's playing tennis, and more so the fact that he wasn't the one to introduce her to a sport that she likes or some shit like that. Anyway, he's bringing her to get some nachos or whatever, and he notices people coming in with guns. So he sends her off while he warns the gang, and they end up getting there a bit too late. Just a bit. As they managed to hit their target, the gang managed to hit their target. While our gang, the force, take down one of the operatives and the other flees. They realize Chin-Ho chases one of them, and he recognizes him. We later learn out it's a cousin, and decides to let him go. He later goes to visit that cousin's family and finds out he hasn't been seen in over a year or something, months. So they realize there's a gang war going on, as the Samoans have taken out like 7 triads, I think it was called. So the triads taking out their the leader of the Samoans is them saying, "Hey, we ain't taking this shit lying down, man. We ain't just gonna sit here." So Dano is now in a custody problem because his wife believes that she's in danger due to being around him, which is like not really fair. I mean, Dano could not have known that there was going to be a gang war popping off at this fucking football game. He couldn't have known this shit. So they realize that the quarterback that was injured is the nephew of the dude who was killed, and is probably part of the gang. So they go see him, and they find out he has a gun. And they take the gun and get information from him about where the triad is. And they send him off, much to Dano's, befuddlement. Like, we just sent the guy off, we gotta get a gun. Why are we doing that? So this is more of, Dano and Steve's, disagreements. So Chin-Ho ends up taking in his cousin, who reveals that he's actually a cop deep undercover. And that he refuses to work with Chin because, his dirty copness, whatever. I really hope that we get to figure out what the hell Chin-Ho's backstory is. Like, how the hell this happened? Is he gonna he's gonna get his name cleared? I hope that happens soon. So they end up doing the sleuthing and investigate one of the hideouts of the Samoans. And they track this pizza place who basically is the front for their arms deals. They take this guy and lock him in a shark cage. And as Steve says, those sharks aren't meat eaters. But Joey doesn't know that. And he and Danny start talking about, how he's only here for Grace. Without her, he's got no one on this island. Steve says, well, you still got Joey. And of course, Joey ends up talking, revealing that there's going to be a guy named Frank something coming in. And Danny knows it because while he was in New Jersey, that guy was the mobster. So they end up figuring out that he's going to be coming in because of gambling. As this is the place where he can do the most get the gambling front for. And they realize there's going to be like a party or whatever, so and Sid's the bouncer, so Sid lets him in. Kono is a waitress and Chin-ho is the man in the van, as Sid refuses to work with Chin-ho. Because, you know, Sid is bitter that, you know, since they're related, HPD is now on his ass. You know, he's got to take the dangerous shit, so he doesn't so he can prove to them he's not dirty like Chin-ho was. Anywho, they're made damn near instantly by Frank's men. Sid gets his ass kicked while Danny, Kono, and Steve come in with the assist in a shootout. But Frank is about to shoot Sid, only to be saved by Chin-ho. So they end up arresting him, which basically means that Sid is now the goddamn hero. They're rolling out the red carpet for him. So Dano goes to and I might have missed it, but I don't think we gotta book him, Dano. Disappointing. So Dano goes to his ex's house, which was a fucking mansion, dear God, and tries to plead his case on seeing his daughter. Unfortunately, he wasn't speaking to his wife, he was speaking to her assistant, but then he speaks to her counsel, who reveals that she's dropping her custody petition. And Grace ends up running out and says that she wants one of those squishy footballs, a pink one. And he says, that's the second best news I've heard all day. So Dano goes to back to the home base, and Steve reveals that turns out her stepdad was trying to build a new hotel, but she got to get approval from the governor. Funny how that works out. And then tells Dano that, maybe you're not as alone on this island as you thought. Before they all go watching some Steve's old games. And Steve reveals that his number wasn't 50, but 5-0, as that's what his father called them since they weren't natives. It made him feel belonging. And Kono decides that that's a good one, so I think that's them choosing their name as Hawaii-Five-0. Overall, this episode was pretty good. I enjoyed it pretty good. It was pretty good. We're still kind of setting up the formula, I suppose. We're still getting in the groove, getting the relationships and the characters figured out. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.